Hi, everyone. I want to talk about three ways that I monitor my health. And you can monitor these things right at home. It's really easy to do. But these are three of the markers that I think are the most important to monitor for your health. The first thing is blood pressure. I monitor my blood pressure in the morning and in the evening. It varies a little, but I want my blood pressure to be under 120 over 70. I like it around 115 over 65. And that's usually, when I'm doing everything right, that's usually about where my blood pressure is. There's lots of different cuffs that you can use. I have two or three cuffs and I use, and maybe I'll take an average, and I do that with some of these other ways that I monitor my health. I have multiple devices that I use. So blood pressure is the first thing. And I just figure if my blood pressure is in that range, you know, I'm healthy in most ways. If my blood pressure gets out of whack, then I'm maybe concerned and get some other things tested and checked. Maybe I go get some blood work done and see what's going on if my blood pressure gets up very high at all. I don't take any medications. I do take niacin, and I think that helps, and a few other natural supplements, but I'm not on any statins or anything like that. I'll never take them, never. I think there's too many other things that you can do to address your blood pressure. And if my blood pressure starts to go up, I start to wonder why. It doesn't. It hasn't in many, many years. But if it did, then I would dig into it a little more. The second thing that I monitor on a daily basis throughout the day, and yeah, it takes time, but it's your health, and that is my glucose. I have three different monitors that I use. If my glucose seems low or high, I'll use one of the other two, and sometimes they are off a little bit, maybe 10 points. My glucose. I monitor my glucose. I want to know what certain food is doing to my glucose. And my glucose, I can't, no matter what I eat with, um, my level of health right now, it's hard for me to get my glucose over 140. It's hard to spike it over 140. Certain carbs can get it up to about 140 or maybe a little more, but it comes back down. But I want my glucose to be 85. I like it to be 85 or lower in the morning. Now, a lot of people have a dawn effect. You get up, you start moving, your body's naturally going to spike glucose. So you just got to kind of be aware of that and test your glucose throughout the day and see if you're getting that dawn effect, which many people do. But I want my glucose to be 85 or lower when I get up in the morning. And I try to test it right when I wake up so that I don't have that dawn effect. You start moving around and walking around, and your body's going to, it's one way that it tries to wake up, or getting ready for the day is pumping some glucose into the blood. So that's where I want my glucose to be. The faster it comes down from a spike, depending on whatever foods you're eating, and different foods will do different things to everybody and to their glucose. One thing might spike your glucose, but it won't spike mine. I use a lot of amino acids. I eat a lot of protein. Doesn't spike my glucose a lot. My carbs are almost always under 100. My net carbs are usually around 50 or less, but that's because I eat some blueberries and some things that I put in my protein shakes and so on. And lately I've been trying to get my fiber up a little. So my glucose, I want it to be under 85 in the morning. I'll check it a lot of times at night. I'll see how fast it comes down from dinner. And if it's not coming down like I like it to, I'll use some dihydroberberine to bring it down. And that usually works pretty good for me. brings it down pretty quickly. If I'm going to have a cheat meal, I'll take some dihydroberberine before the meal, and I'll take some after the meal, maybe an hour after. And that keeps it in check. But that's a huge marker for your health. And I know that if my glucose is sitting right around 85, I'm happy. I'm feeling healthy and positive. The last thing that I check at home is my triglycerides. I think it's more important than a lot of the other markers that you can check. And if my triglycerides get out of whack, which they don't because of my diet, a healthy diet, I'm eating healthy fats. And for me, at over 60, if I ate a lot of carbs, I could spike my triglycerides. But for me, I want my triglycerides to be under 70. So if my triglycerides are under 70, I'm happy. So I'll something again, I'll check in the morning when I wake up, kind of a fasted type thing. I want my triglycerides to be under 60, or I'm sorry, 70. 60 is even better. But I think it's an important marker. Now, if my triglycerides are up at 250, 300, I want to know what's going on with my body, because that's going to be too high. And if they're up like that, then I might want to do some other tests. I might want to change my diet, or like I said, I haven't had my triglycerides up that high in, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, because I've really cleaned up my diet, got rid of the processed foods and so on. So, and you can check these just with a finger prick. If you guys have questions about how I do this, I'm not going to blurt it all out here, but just leave a comment in the comment section and I will tell you exactly what I do, what glucose monitors I use. I check my ketones and so on with my glucose. I'll tell you how I do that. If you guys have questions about what I do, again, this is what I do and what I feel is important to me. I think those three things are really important. And if those are in the range I want them to be, I'm confident I'm healthy. One of them gets out of whack, I'm going to kind of look into it. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the comment section. If you guys want to know what else I'm doing, there's always links in there with promo codes and for discounts for like NAD and glutathione, which I am huge on. If you're watching the channel, you know how I've lowered my liver enzymes, and those are two products that have helped me do it. And also, if you guys like this stuff, I like to address stuff that's geared towards me, older people, people over 50, how to stay healthy and what I've done, what's worked for me. Because I know I sound like a broken record when I say not everything works for everybody. Not every diet is going to be perfect for everyone. You got to figure it out for you. But I just like to relay what's worked for me and relay that to people. It's different than when I was 20. Once I hit 50, it's even more different. Now over 60, it's still somewhat different. So like and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this stuff, go check out some of the other videos. Hey, if you're a young person, pass this on to your grandma or your grandpa or your parents. And hopefully that will help them, some of the stuff that we talk about, some of the interviews that I do. And I will talk to you soon.